can't imagine any circumstance in which the PATRIOT Act would be used in the circumstances of parents complaining about their children, nor can I imagine a circumstance where they would be labeled as domestic terrorism.
So that was in October, 7 months ago, under oath, and now an FBI whistleblower says that is not the case. 2 Republican members of Congress want answers, and one of those is with me now, Jim Jordan, Republican from Ohio, ranking member, House Judiciary Committee. Sir, good morning to you. You've been trying to get more questions from the DOJ. How's that going?
Well, they haven't been too forthcoming, but that's sort of the pattern with this Justice Department. But when the Attorney General made that statement last October, we had our doubts then, and now based on more than actually multiple whistleblowers who've come forward with over 24 instances where the threat tag designation was put on parents, put on moms and dads, and they were investigated. And we highlighted some of the big cases. We had this one case where it was simply a mom showing up at her school board meeting who happened to support the Second Amendment, and she was reported on the snitch line that the Justice Department, the Attorney General's memo had established. This is how ridiculous it is. So it sure looks like the statement the Attorney General made last October was not accurate based on what multiple whistleblowers have now come forward and told us about what is going on out there across the country.
A couple of things I'm trying to understand. The example you just gave, where was that woman? What part of the country?
Well, we've kept that out just because to protect the whistleblower. I mean, we know there was multiple cities where this happened, multiple areas around the country. We kept that out of the letter. We had that part redacted in the public letter. But yeah, this was a mom who came forward.
Another question then. What would the criteria be to put a threat tag on any mother or father who showed up at a school board meeting?
Well, I don't know, but we do know in one of those situations when they actually interviewed the person who put the complaint in, who went to the snitch line that was established, who put the complaint in, they said, well, we didn't actually know of any threats or any real crime. We just knew we didn't like what these people were about, that they were, bad people, they were conservative, they were whatever name. So there was no evidence, and yet that person was reported. This threat tag designation, this label was associated with their name, and they were investigated by the FBI, which is exactly what we said was going to happen. And the chilling impact, this is the big concern, because it's part of a bigger pattern. 2 weeks ago we learned about the Disinformation Governance Board. Now we know that what we had concerns about with school boards and parents, what the Attorney General's memo, that exactly played out that way. It's all designed, Bill, to chill First Amendment activity, to chill free speech. And that is the thing that concerns me more than anything else, because it played out just like we thought.
Right. A couple of more things here. Did a parent call on another parent? Did a teacher say, hey, I had a meeting with a mother or father last week and they're not happy, and they showed up in front of a microphone and they were, to use your word, snitched on?
Well, remember the pattern here. The School Board Association sent the letter September 29th. October 4th, the memorandum goes out to U.S. attorneys. 16 days after that, on October 20th, the FBI sends out the email saying establish this threat tag. First of all, the first thing I always say is that all happened in 22 days. I've never seen the federal government move that fast. So that all happened. One of the examples we cite in our letter from the whistleblower was Democrats basically reporting on Republican elected officials because they didn't like what they were saying. They didn't like what their position on the mask issue and what was happening relative to COVID and lockdowns in certain situations at schools.
Or it could have been
that is all political. That's just political.
Comments in front of the microphone, which is protected by free speech, which would be even more egregious. Statement from DOJ, I don't know when this came out, I think it's been months ago. It said a tag is merely a statistical tool to track information for review and reporting. The creation of a threat tag in no way changes the long-standing requirements for opening an investigation, nor does it represent a shift in how the FBI prioritizes threats. So whenever you get answers, we're going to come back to that statement. Last question.
If that's the case.
Yeah, do you believe the AG told the truth under oath, or did he simply not know?
Well, I actually probably think it's more of the latter, but that's just as concerning, frankly, if he didn't have a clue what was really going on. Because what you just read, that's not what happened. They went out and talked to people. So it wasn't just a way to track things. They actually did an investigation because they talked to the complainant. They went out and did an investigation. That is much different than what you just described, and that is our concern.
Okay, sir, thank you. We'll follow up. Jim Jordan from Ohio. Thanks for your time in Washington.